Today is Saturday, and we've got some garage sales to hit, so let's go. They had a huge pile of clothes and shoes laid out on the yard, and almost immediately, these yellow ones caught my eye. They're from this brand Kane. There's no prices on anything, so hopefully they're reasonable. There are comps for these shoes around 40 to 60 bucks. And on their table, I saw this Instax Mini 8 film camera, and they usually sell for around $20 to $25. I ended up doing one more pass on the clothes and decided to pick up these UGG slippers as well. They only wanted $10 for all three items, so that definitely worked out. Now, before we head over to this next sale, if you're new here, I'm on a quest to collect the top 100 N64 games of all time without spending any money out of pocket. I can use up to 10% of the profits I make selling stuff on eBay to buy new games for the collection. I'm currently sitting at 65 N64 games, but $0 in the fund. So we need to have a fantastic week if I want to add something to the collection. Let's hit up this next sale. Almost immediately when I walked up, I noticed this Shogun game. It's definitely vintage and looks like it's probably complete. There are comps for 100% complete games for around $100 to $140. And then I saw this. Now, if you don't know, this is a grail. This is a vintage 1989 Lenox Spice Village, and they sell all day on eBay for around $600 for the set. This was one of my biggest garage sale finds ever. And of course, I had to ask for games. He said somebody else was coming for them later, but that I could take a look. He wanted a bit too much for the whole stack, but he let me cherry pick Mario Kart Double Dash and TMNT Mutant Melee. But he also brought out a sealed copy of Dragon Ball Z Legacy of Goku 1 and 2 for the GBA. We negotiated $100 for all three games. Now, I'm not sure exactly on the Dragon Ball Z game, but I might be able to get about $300 for it if I can find the right buyer. And we ended up negotiating a bit, but we settled on $30 for the Shogun game. I think I might have found like $1,000 worth of stuff today for like $200. Not too bad, not too bad. And now I've got four things to pack up today. First up on the list is this lot of like Shopkins toys. They all look like little food items. We sold them for $15 plus shipping. So next on the list is this sealed board game. It's called Through the Ages. We sold it for $75 with free shipping. This was one from our personal collection. Actually, it was still sealed after all this time, just never got around to playing it. So at least we got our money back on that one. And then the next two items, very exciting. We picked both of these items up from the same estate sale last weekend. The first item is this Play School Dragon Tales like plush. So it's still in the box. We paid $30 for it at the estate sale, so not cheap. You know, this is an estate sale, not a garage sale, so they know what they're selling for the most part. And we sold that one for $70 plus shipping, and it sold very, very fast, which is great. And then the next item, absolutely insane. This is something you got to be on the lookout for. I had no idea. The next item we sold is 2 seasons of The Adventures of Pete and Pete on DVD. So I never watched this show personally. A little bit before my time. So it aired in 93 and 94. It's not available for streaming anywhere, and they only released it on DVD once. We sold these 2 DVD sets for $110 with free shipping, and it took all of like 4 days for it to sell after we listed it. Absolutely crazy. So let's go ahead and get these 4 items packed up right now. And the next day, Sunday, we were visiting friends, and they mentioned there was an estate sale right down the street from their house. So you know we got to go check it out. My wife did a lap around first and ended up grabbing a few VHS tapes and this Jibber Jabber toy from the early 90s with comps around 25 bucks. Now, I have a GoPro in the mail because I keep forgetting to record when I get excited, but I ended up grabbing a couple of items for $40 all in. First up was this vintage Etch-a-Sketch with the box, which I figured I should be able to get about $15 to $20 for. And there was a huge CB radio setup in the basement with all kinds of equipment. I really wasn't sure what to do with it. Most of it was way too big to pick up and try to ship, but I decided to take the main radio since it wasn't too big, and they have comps on eBay around $60 or so. And the best item of the day was, of course, another VCR, this one from Sony. Now, this one's special because it has the remote and it has HDMI output. There are sold comps for this exact model for $150 on eBay. Good thing my friends mentioned this sale today. So, good afternoon. Today is Monday. A fantastic weekend of sourcing. But for now, I've got these 4 things to pack up. Up first, I picked this up at a garage sale just a couple days ago. It's this sealed copy of the board game Splendor. Paid $5 for it and sold it really fast for $27 with free shipping. Next on the list, I sold this vintage 1994 Intel pin So I picked up a huge bundle of these about a year and a half ago, and we've made like a couple $100 off of those over the last year or so. And we sold another one today for $15 plus shipping. We sold another board game. So this was another sealed board game I picked up the other day. Again, paid about $5 for it, and we sold it for $29 and free shipping. This one's called Ticket to Ride. Another fantastic game if you haven't played it. And then finally, very, very exciting, a couple months back, I picked up this big bundle of like GameStop fabric posters. So I'll show you the two that I kept from this lot. They're very, very cool. I kept Spider-Man and Resident Evil 4. They look awesome in the game room. And there was about 6 or 7 other ones. I sold that one for I think like 40. And then we just sold, this was the one I had listed the highest because it's a Final Fantasy 16 fabric GameStop poster. But what makes this special, it's 7 feet tall. So it is absolutely massive. And we just sold this one for $120. So we are officially in the profit on that deal. And I've got a couple more to sell from that. Besides the really cool, I kept the ones I think are the coolest. So those are the 4 things I sold today. Let's go ahead and get these packed up. Kind of interesting, but we found an ad for a Thursday estate sale, which I've actually never seen before. They've got a ton of Lego, so I'm going to see if I can get lucky. When I went inside, somehow I was the only person there. I made a beeline straight for the Lego. They had massive sets, some with the boxes, and the retail value was probably somewhere around $1,000 for everything you see on the table. Now, he was pretty firm on the orange sports car. Unfortunately, there were sales on eBay for around $450, and they wanted $400, but for everything else, they were negotiable, and we were able to come to a deal for $360. But he also told me if nobody else bought the car, I could have it on Friday for $250. Stay tuned. Good afternoon. Today is Thursday. I've got 3 things to pack up, but they're pretty good ones actually. And yeah, it's been a very slow week. Slow couple of weeks actually. I've been way more picky with the kind of stuff I pick up. So, the stuff we list has been selling, which is good. I'm not like filling my store with a bunch of crap. I foresee this becoming a larger part of my day, especially as I'm a stay-at-home parent is actually my main job. When my son starting a summer program, my younger son, I'm going to have a ton of time and the dollars are going to start flying because I've got piles and piles of great stuff, video games, Legos, some clothes, some electronics, like all kinds of stuff. But for now, I've got these 3 things to pack. First on the list, we sold this Sony CyberShot digital camera. Picked this up for $10. I think this was from an online estate sale. So this camera we won for $11. Sold it for $50 plus shipping. The next item on the list, a Sony Walkman. Love to pick these up at garage sales and thrift stores when we find them. And we sold it for $34 plus shipping. And then finally, this one was sitting around for a while, which is kind of surprising. It is a Game Boy Advance SP. It's the 101 model, so it's the backlit, like nicer model, but it's a reshell. So it's reshelled with this Pikachu shell. I think if it was in nicer condition, maybe, you'd get like market price for it. But the fact that it's like this Pikachu reshell and it's in not the best condition, it works and everything, but the face on Pikachu is like scratched off. So the fact that it's just like this cute Pikachu reshell almost doesn't matter. So I had to sell it for a little bit below market, but I sold it for $108 plus shipping. And those are the 3 items we sold today. Let's get these packed up. And we are off to the first town-wide garage sale of the season. Let's go. I ended up grabbing quite a few things at this first sale. $5 for this pair of Ugg boots. They're in pretty good shape, and I'm assuming they'll sell for about $20 to $30. And she only wanted $2 for each piece of clothing on the table, so I picked up this camo Nike hoodie. I showed some interest in these Power Ranger figures, and she offered me $3 for them, so I took it. And finally, for $2 each, I picked up these 3 flat brim hats. I'll need to take a lint roller to them, but they're in good shape otherwise and should be able to get about $15 each for them. And this next sale had trash bags filled with clothes on the driveway. After digging for a bit, I ended up grabbing these North Face and Patagonia fleece jackets for $5 each. Should go for about $20 to $30 a piece. And we grabbed another pair of Ugg boots with the box for $10 with comps around $35. And this next sale is the whole reason I go out to garage sales. The first thing that caught my eye for only $3 was this Nightmare Before Christmas oversized snow globe. I 100% would have bought this, but unfortunately Zero's head and jack was cracked off, but he did have this spirit ball decoration marked at $5 that was in good condition, so we ended up grabbing that. And then we asked about video games, and he brought out this. He only wanted $5 for the box, but of course I had to give him more than that. I ended up paying $40 total for everything we picked up. I'll show you everything in this box once I get home, but we've got more sales to hit. At the next sale, I didn't grab anything, but my wife found this pack of Pokemon playing cards, like a 52 card deck, in the original packaging with comps between $30 and $75. And we've got one last sale for the day. Again, I really need that GoPro. It's hard to film and talk at the same time. But for $40 total, I ended up getting another NES console, plus a couple of low-value titles, and an Xbox 360 with all of the cables. Now let's head home and I'll show you everything in that box of NES games. Okay, so I just got home. I showed you most of the things I picked up already, but I'm going to show you everything I got so you can see what was in this little box of treasure. Man, you never know. I was sitting like 10 feet away, just chilling in his garage. Got any games? Big old box of NES. Crazy. So CIB Silent Service. We got a complete, I'm assuming it's in there. It looks like, I'm not sure if this was ever used. It's like still in the plastic. We'll look into that later, but at least like complete in-box cleaning kit. We've got Pinbot with the manual. Most of these are not special. You probably saw that one sitting on top of the box, but in case you missed it, I'm going to save it for the end. TMNT. We got Tengen, RBI Baseball with manual. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Maniac Mansion. This is actually a great one. I'm going to be adding a couple of these to my collection too, because there's a few that I didn't have yet. Mario 2. Nice little collection. No, like, nothing crazy, but for like a kid in the 80s, this was probably fantastic. RC Pro-Am. Star Tropics, Dragon Warrior, Tetris. Obviously, the icon, Zelda. Rad Racer 2, Jordan vs. Bird, Marble Madness, Winter Games, Jackal, Mario 3, and Pinball. So most of these are cells, but I am going to keep Pinball. I don't have that one yet. Probably going to keep Star Tropics. I forgot one. I actually haven't checked. Hopefully it's in there. We got a Mega Man 3 box. Let's see what's inside. Oh, there he is. Oh. Oh, bummer. No manual. Let's see if it's in this box and I just like missed it. Oh, there it is. Okay. Got the manual. And we got this guy home. $250 as discussed. But yeah, when it's all said and done, it should be about $150 in profit. So definitely a nice pickup. Good afternoon. We just got back from that town-wide garage sale, and we did very, very well. 2 NES consoles in one day. You know it's a good day. We now have 4 things to pack up, and then we're taking the funds over the game store and hopefully adding something to the N64 collection today. Up first, we sold this Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous T-Rex. Picked this up from the thrift store, I believe, for only a couple bucks, and sold it for $20 plus shipping. Next, we sold another pair of these Crocs ballet flats. So I picked up 4 pairs of these from like a church rummage sale a couple weeks back, $3 each. So we had sold 2 pairs previously, and we just sold another one for $15 plus shipping. Only got 1 left. Next, we sold this Bop It game, new in the box. It's from 2008. Picked it up from the thrift store for $4. Sold it for $30 plus shipping. And then finally is this pink Game Boy Advance. Sold it for parts, unfortunately, but I sold it for $38 plus shipping. And those are the 4 things we've got today. We're going to pack these up, and we're off to the game store. And with that, we generated $314 in profit this week, putting $31 into the game fund. Now let's hit the game store. They had exactly 1 game I needed for the collection, All-Star Baseball 2000, but luckily it only sets me back $2 in the game fund. That puts me at 66 out of my top 100 N64 games. Besides that, we added some fantastic NES titles to the collection this week, and if you want to check out the reselling and collecting journey from the beginning, watch this playlist here. Thanks so much for watching, and see you in the next one.